Hi, I'm Mary.
And I'm Katie, and this is The Housewife Did It.
Pop Culture Edition.
Finally.
Yeah, if you have missed our podcast coming out twice a week, if you have realized you cannot live without us in our pop culture editions, then share with your friends. Tell them to listen. Um, yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right. We are back. We have missed. That was not a question. That was just like.
I was gonna say we're a new
Ooh.
place.
We are in different locations if you're watching us on YouTube. We have missed a lot. Bravo kept us fed. Miss Taylor kept us fed. Mary and I did keep posting Bravo songs to Bravo people to Torture Poet songs as we promised.
Yes.
But now we're back with the real thing.
Oh, and we went viral.
Mm-hmm. Mary.
It's 55,000 views.
Yeah.
That's crazy on TikTok.
Killing it.
So if you're here from our thought daughter gay son TikTok, welcome.
Yeah. Welcome. So, a few housekeeping things. We will be changing our schedule up a little bit. So Mary said, if you love hearing us 2 times a week, well, too bad.
Sorry.
We are going to be going down to 1 episode a week. We will alternate between pop culture and true crime. And those will be every Tuesday now. So no more Fridays. You can listen on Friday. It'll be there. The right Friday.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what we're thinking. Tuesdays are our day now, and yeah, we're just things are busy. Things are picking up. We need to lighten the load. Mary's out here in grad school. You think she has a break because it's summer and she's a teacher.
All last night, all last night at Italian Fest, people were like, "Are you like so excited to be like off?" And I was like, "Huh." No, I just have to start grad school on Monday. Full time.
Yep. And as we talked about, I just finished my move, started a new job. So we don't want to stop doing this, but we got to do less.
Yeah.
So, if you're hearing this right now, this Tuesday, whenever you're listening to this, it should be Tuesday or a little after. The following Tuesday, you'll get a true crime episode. So, that's what you got.
But not for us.
Yeah.
We'll record it right after this.
We're going to crank them out.
Right after this break.
Yeah. We will try to keep doing bonus episodes as we have more free time. If we decide to do any other like multi-part true crimes, we will figure that out and we'll let you know.
Yeah, I do have a bonus episode in my mind that I read about in one of my books for grad school, and I was like, that sounds criminal. But
nice.
But also vaguely not. So
I have one in mind or a couple in mind too. So we'll see. And we might just feel so relieved with decreasing the amount that we'll be like, oh my gosh, we're feeling so giving.
Yeah.
We can devote 20 to 30 minutes to our bonus
episode. It's giving bonus episode.
Could be. So this pop culture episode gonna be a little different because we're mostly just catching up. So not really recapping because there would be 20 episodes to recap. So basically major thoughts, takeaways, and then the rumblings, the social media rumblings, the drama.
Yes. So I had like a rumble in my head, and as I went to write it in the script,
Is that what your cursor was doing for like 10 minutes? Just it was like Mary's in here and you like did not move. I was like, what is she doing? All right, you ready to get into it?
Yes.
Okay. So we had a lot of finales, a lot of reunions, a lot of endings. So we'll start with Summer House. This week we got a preview of the reunion. Ooh-wee.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good. Also, though, one of my favorite things that has come out of this is like the memes that are saying like Paige sent the mood board to everyone except Danielle. Like, what the fuck is Danielle wearing? It's so bad.
Would we be shocked if she did that?
If that's true. We also obviously got the finale last night. Well, last night for us, not last night for y'all.
Yeah.
So I ask because I've seen many people landed in different places than they thought that they would,
Yes.
or whatever. So like at the end of the season, we still have the reunion to go, so maybe our minds will be changed. But whose side are you on? And did it shock you?
Yeah, I feel like I was so hard on Carl's side this whole season, but then like as the season has progressed and they've had more fights and different fights, I've kind of seen like how the internet has rallied around Lindsay more based on like Carl being manipulative, and I can definitely see that now. It like broke my heart when she was telling the girls like how long she had like waited for Carl.
Yeah.
And like that like he knew that. But then what really like I thought was like fucking spooky was when she told him that when she said like there was a time that she was starting to videotape him, and as soon as she picked up her phone, he thought she was recording, he started saying, "Stop yelling at me, Lindsay." And like she was like, "I had not been yelling at you." And I was like, that shit's spooky if that's like true.
Right. So I think what they said was that like she said she was recording him, but she didn't. But then he did start recording and he started yelling like, "Lindsay, stop yelling at me." And like, it's like I understand that like the consensus is like if true, and it's like with Lindsay, like I guess we don't really know. But
she could have been yelling at him.
Yeah.
I would believe.
Yeah. In the after show, they like brought that up to him, and all he did was bring up her accidentally breaking the glass bottles again, which like I don't know the correlation.
Yeah, you haven't answered
that doesn't
the
mean she's yelling. So like I don't understand. And I've just gotten like much more of the ick from Carl.
Yes.
So late. So yeah, I guess no spoiler here. I really was shocked that I ended on Lindsay's side. I'm not a Lindsay fan. Listen, like we're not going to be friends. She's like not my girly. That's fine. But I have found her to be on the right side through most of this. I would love it if Lala and Sheena could take a lesson out of the Lindsay haters books, because no one really likes Lindsay, but we're all able to be like, man, men ain't shit, and like he did her dirty.
Yeah.
So I have lots of thoughts because I've also like been a Carl fan. So it's like, this feels like a major shift. I do not think that it is nuts to ask him to get a job.
Yeah.
Billie continuously says like, but he has a job. They have the show. And it's like, sure. That both of them having the show though creates like a baseline lifestyle for them. And if they want anything above that, they will need additional incomes. And what she was saying to him was like, you are aware and you are a part of the plan that I want children soon. And if I'm going to be pregnant and then taking care of a baby, we're going to need more money coming in. Right. And like, where is that going to come from? So like, I don't think it's nuts to ask him to get a job after 10 months of not working.
Right.
I also, man, do I get it that like he asks her to be soft and she's sitting there thinking like, this man knows me. He knows me, who I am. And he's told me, I'm sure, for years, he loves who I am. He wants me for who I am. He doesn't want me to change. He loves that I'm strong. He loves that I'm opinionated, whatever. Now, all of a sudden, he's asking me to be soft when he knows, like, I'm soft and, like, not that way. And, of course, like, he wants her to be soft in the way that, like, keeps his, like, ego and, like, masculinity intact. Like, I would like you to not question the fact that I don't have a job.
Right.
It's, like, different when it's like Lindsay was soft when your brother died. Lindsay is soft when you're going through, like, crises.
Right.
Get a fucking job, and
Right.
maybe she'll be softer. Maybe she'll have a buffer of an income to be softer to you.
Right. And he, like, every time he's like, well, I'm trying to get a job and you're, like, shooting me down. You're a grown-ass man. Like, if you truly genuinely feel like you're going to make a good investment with these ideas that you have, then, like, stand your ground. You don't have to, like, it's crazy to me that he's, like, so, like, angry about her questioning him, but then the second she does, he, like, immediately rolls over and is like, okay, I won't do that, I guess, because you won't let me.
Well, and, like, that was part of it too, that it's like, I get the feeling that, like, it must just suck to, like, hope for a certain reaction, hope that she's gonna say, oh my God, that's great. And then she doesn't. However, like, from at least what we saw on camera, like, none of it was, like, overtly, like, you're a fucking idiot, you can't do that. She's asking, like, oh, like, are those kind of things successful? Oh, like, have you figured out a plan? And it's like, when they had the last conversation in the house, like, or in their apartment, she said to him, like, I think I am confused because the whole time you were working with Loverboy, I was your sounding board. You came home and you wanted me to offer ideas and questions and say, should you do this? Should you offer Kyle this? And so I'm confused now that, like, all of a sudden that is not what you want from me. And I think that, like, that is fair. I think a lot of it, I will not say, and I know people say that, like, she gaslights him too. I will not say that, like, I think Carl is, like, this master manipulator who, like, in his mind is like, oh, I'm gonna trick her. Like, I think it's subconscious, but he says over and over again, like, I'm just telling you how I feel and you're not listening. First of all, I don't think you're telling her how you feel. You're asking something of her.
Right.
Which is fine in their partnership to do. However, like, she's listening. She's just telling you, I will not be giving that to you. Right. And I think, like, in that way, like, you're not listening to her. Right. Like, you're taking it as, like, I don't know. It just feels like, no, she's not giving you what you want. And that's fair. And maybe you just should not be together. But, like, she heard you. She's just also saying, like, when we're talking about your career, I am not going to coddle you like a baby. Sorry.
Yeah. And it's okay, especially I think when you're talking with your partner, to say, like, I want to, like, talk about this, but I don't want, like, your advice on it. Like, I want to tell you, like, my thoughts, my questions,
like, spill?
Like,
can
right. But I don't, like, I'm not seeking guidance here. Because, like, my husband and I work in the same field. And so, like, sometimes we will say, like, hey, does this sound okay? Do you think this makes sense to do this? But, like, other times we'll come home and just rant about our day and say, like, I've already handled it. I don't want advice, but, like, I just want to talk about it. And it's okay to say that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that kind of leads me to my, like, overall feeling about all this is, like, whoever side I'm on, like, it's narrow. Like, ultimately, I do believe that, like, this relationship is just so toxic that it made them both the absolute worst that they could have been.
Yeah.
But back to Carl being shitty. I also get so fed up with him, like, weaponizing all of these, like, mental health strategies and words. Like, he's like, he said, there was a whole sentence that I was like, I'm, like, glitching. He was like, I am telling you my feelings and you're unable to like receive them. It's like so annoying the way that he like is just using the words that they must be learning in therapy.
Yeah, it's giving Rachel.
Yeah, but it's like she's sitting there. Also, must say, Lindsay said, I've been trying very hard. I have not blown up. And that is true. She has remained, although like still Lindsay and salty and a tad condescending, she's not been screaming at him.
Right.
So like whatever. But I just was like, I feel like that is also him gaslighting her, that she's like doing the best she can. She's just trying to like communicate. And he's just like throwing all of these like big words at her to be like, this is how you're the communication failure. And it's just kind of slimy.
Yeah.
And I don't know, this might be like a hot take, but we had said this kind of before with Carl, that like how we wondered how his sobriety was like affecting this, but it like almost feels more annoying from him because we know he's sober. And it's like, I'm not getting it. And like, not that people should have an excuse because they're drunk, but it's like you can watch Lindsay from like a reality TV perspective and be like, oh my God, she's so messy because she's drunk. But it's like, why is he acting like this?
Yeah. But I also feel like as soon as Carl like really committed to sobriety, he was like acting like some kind of like philosophical figure all the time.
Yeah.
Like so into like mental health centered language and like like all these like, I don't know, it like the way like Sandoval was this season. Like that, I feel like that's the transition Carl had.
Yeah.
Which is like, I'm not saying he shouldn't be sober.
Sure.
Like
no, of course.
There are plenty of people who can tolerate that kind of personality. I'm not one of them.
And it also truthfully may just be him on camera. Like we don't know. I don't know.
But so like, I don't feel like this is like a new version of Carl. But I can understand where like Lindsay, being someone who is not sober, would find constantly being spoken to that way so frustrating.
Yeah.
It's because it sounds condescending a lot.
Yeah. I also want to say that I do kind of agree with her. Oh, I think this was on the after show, so I guess I should say that if people don't know what I'm talking about. But she has said, like, I kind of think, though, that, like, Carl does whatever's easy and obvious and in front of him. And I kind of think that that's true. Like, I think that, like, when he first started with Loverboy, he had been fired. No one else would work with him. His best friend offers him a job. I think he thinks, like, oh, I can get away with stuff. It's my friend. And, like, obviously, that was unwell, Carl. So, like, I wouldn't want to hold him to that, except that I kind of feel like Lindsay, and she says in the after show, it makes me wonder if I was just the easy and obvious and right in front of his face choice for a relationship. And so I think that she could be right. Like, he already knows this person. She is like waiting for him. He knows that. He doesn't really have to convince her to be with him. Yeah. And then now it's like, again, he needs a job. Well, what's right in front of him? It's either sobriety, because that's his life, which is fine, or it's Kyle Cook, especially offering him a non-out. And like, I don't think it's a problem that he goes back to Loverboy.
Yeah.
I do think she's right that like Carl has not tended, like he does tend to take the easy way.
Yeah. And also like in hindsight,
not that sobriety's easy. That's not part of it.
Yeah. But like in hindsight, like his relationships with like Lauren and Paige and like even like with Sierra a little bit, like just kind of like zeroing in on the like first single girl he sees for the summer. We never
saw Carl bring anyone in to the group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except Danielle.
Well, yeah, but that was so.
But I mean, he had dated Danielle before he brought her into the group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, though, I want to caveat here that I obviously do not condone Lindsay early in the season questioning Carl's sobriety and calling him Cocaine Carl. We are not taking those thoughts back. We still think that. I just think that this has moved well past that.
Yeah.
I think like that in itself is shitty, but then he should have dumped her for that.
Right.
And that should have been done.
Right. I agree. It feels like a little late to throw in the towel now. Like, I can see, like, remember at the beginning of the summer, we were like, it's so silly that she said she was blindsided when she's talking to him like this. But I can see how she feels blindsided at this point because they've had so many conversations to mend things, like to get back on the right track. They were doing better. Like, they still are having fights, but like it's about different things now. And then after that, all of the things they'd been through this summer, he's like, no, I can't do it. Sorry. Like, of course she feels blindsided. She thought that it was on the up and up.
Yeah, and obviously it's just blindsiding for your fiance to come home and say, there's me a camera crew in today.
Right.
And you're like, okay. Yeah, I was trying to say that last night that like I understand there has to be a time, I guess, where everyone realizes like this is too much fighting.
Yeah.
But like, who can blame her for the fact that she is just thinking like this is temporary? He's unemployed. We're filming this summer. We have a wedding we're planning. Like, this is just stressful and it's gonna get better. And we have committed to working on it with each other. So like, we're gonna keep working on it. Like, it is still blindsiding to hear that like all of a sudden, no, we're not. Carl also says on the after show that he did not go into that conversation intending to break up. He really did think they could find a middle ground, that they could understand each other, but she did not do that. And so if she had said to him, if she had said to him, like, you're right, and I'm sorry, then he would have embraced her. Yeah, of course, if she said to you, you're right, you'd be fine. But like, you weren't. You weren't right. He was like ready to duke. And she was just like, okay, I've been thinking a lot.
Yeah. It also like kind of like lends itself though to like him being like malicious and like manipulative. The way he said it was like, I can't marry you right now. Not like I can't be with you. Which I feel like gives him a leg up to continuously say, well, I wasn't trying to break up. I was trying to postpone the wedding. I didn't think we were ready to get married.
Yeah.
At that moment. And like that she just wouldn't accept dating at that point.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he's like setting himself up for that kind of storyline with wording it that way.
Yeah.
And then he says it we see that he's going to say it at the reunion, and she's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And I think she interpreted him the same way I would have when he said, it's not an anger problem, it's a relationship problem.
Yeah.
Okay. So sounds like you don't want to be in a relationship with me.
Right.
Kind of on top of that sobriety thing, like not at all trying to like tear Carl down as a person. It was devastating to hear Carl say that I don't think this is true on Lindsay's end, but it is devastating to think that he thought that his partner wanted him to relapse. He did also talk on the after show about how he went to a hotel that night. They saw that he was upset. They brought him a bottle of wine to his room. Because he was the hotel people. Because he was upset, and he said, like, I told them no thank you, but I totally could have taken it and drank the whole thing and no one would have known. And it's like, that's fair. And that is rough. And you know, I'm not saying this summer and all of this like wasn't hard on him and his sobriety. I just felt like a lot of mansplaining. So
people are comparing Carl and Kyle to the Toms now with like the way they ride for each other when they shouldn't.
Yeah. On the finale, we see, it seems, the girls were able to rally around Lindsay, even though they're not always her biggest fans, or some of them. However, by the time we made it to the after show, Paige and Sierra feel the exact way about Lindsay that they always have. They say they think her tears were fake, she plays the victim, she never takes accountability, and that Gabby has become her puppet. Again, like, I don't disagree that like that is kind of who Lindsay has been. Sure.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And I do think it was like so awkward trying to watch Amanda like go so hard in the paint for Carl, but like then don't be here. Like
Yeah.
that's like fine. But it's like, could you imagine if someone had shown up to Ariana's crying party after Scandival broke and was like, but, like,
Yeah.
yo, stop, Amanda.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the Kyle and Craig feud?
Oh my God. I have not like done a whole lot of research, but like from what I've seen that like apparently Loverboy doesn't have investors or like allow investors, and then Craig says that he like went to Kyle first.
Yeah.
And said like, if I can, I will invest in Loverboy, but like I can't. So now I'm gonna do this. I think it's like kind of silly. I understand that they do spritzes. Don't know that it fucking matters. And also like they started as like hard tea, so like it is just like different. But I find it weird that he's like not talking about Paige at all, because like Paige is in some of these photos. Paige is like not necessarily an investor, but she's certainly like branding this with him. So a little weird.
Yeah. He says that Craig did not tell him.
Yeah,
He's
he
like,
says Craig's a
been
liar.
lying to me, and like that when he confronted Craig was like, y'all are a hard tea company. And he was like, no, we have spritzes too.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. This is
yeah, I mean, I will say, like, I do feel like Craig kind of lies,
I will say that when I first saw it, I said, oh, that's not Loverboy.
Yeah, I mean, I do think Craig has a history of like lying to look better. But I also think Kyle has a history of going way too hard for Loverboy. And it doesn't seem to like have affected them with Paige, so I'm just like confused.
Yeah.
And then I guess we didn't really get to this before we went on our little break. So anything you want to add about the Jesse Solomon and Amanda strangeness?
Yeah. When I post,
do you think they're fucking?
When I post the Peter video, my intention was to caption it, "Team Amanda, please leave Kyle for Jesse Solomon."
Yeah. It's so weird. I think it's so cute. Like he's like commenting on her stuff and being like, "Oh my God, what I want to say here isn't appropriate." Yeah. And like I think he's like fucking with everyone.
Yeah.
But I wonder if she and Kyle are texting him and being like, "You have to stop," or if they're like, "Yes, this is gold."
This is funny. Like, so he commented on the picture she posted from the the last party they had of the summer, and he said like, the cameraman must love you. Also, it was me. And somebody commented and was like, well, Kyle's in most of these too, so I guess you love him too. And I was like, that's not a burn.
Yeah, he does.
He does love Kyle.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
They're all friends. They're all friends.
Stupid.
But it is cute, and I think he's so much nicer to her than Kyle is.
Yeah. So. And I'm very nervous about the previews we've seen of West and Sierra at the reunion.
Yeah.
Man. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Now it's time to talk a little about Taylor Swift so that we can end on all the Chrissy Vanderpump stuff.
Taylor Swift.
Woo woo. So no episodes, obviously, but still a lot of newness.
Oh, I remember what my thing was gonna be. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, okay. We got a lot of newness at the start of the European Eras Tour leg post Tortured Poets Department. We did suspect that a new set would be added. So do you love it? Do you have favorite parts of the Tortured Poet set?
I do have a favorite part. My favorite part is The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived. Specifically, the parts where she gets shot.
So good. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I should have said also known as Female Rage the Musical.
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah, I'm obsessed with Who's Afraid of Little Ol' Me. On that freaking stage Roomba. She looks so cool with her like contorting and like whatever. And like the mirrored part of it is so cool. It's so cool.
Yeah. What my the clowning, if you will, I have heard rumblings that there are like camera crews.
Yes.
That they're filming to like create another like documentary, but that will also include the Torture Poets Department set, since it's not in the Eras Tour movie.
Yeah, I think so. She also has gotten the rights to Female Rage the Musical.
Yeah.
So people believe that like that's going to be the name of this said documentary. I don't know if people are like sure that it'll be like an Eras Tour documentary, or if they feel like it'll be like a making of the album of the Torture Poets album documentary, and then like it'll include the set, or like what. But yeah, that is suspected. So obviously there continues to be so much Rep TV clowning. I'm trying to limit myself, but a few things I want to say. First is that there are like flashing strobe lights on the stage that people have been able to slow down and see that they say 621. Also, the Reputation outfit is now shedding around the snake. Sus. It's gonna grow a new skin. But third, what I saw today is that night one in Lisbon, people on like a certain area got green bracelets with butterflies.
Yep.
And then the second night in Lisbon, they got green bracelets with snakes.
Yes.
So now people suspect that debut will actually come first. Which would be, whoa, plot twist.
Yeah.
Be crazy. Crazy. If she did a double drop debut and Reputation, I would shit my pants.
But wouldn't that make sense, like, if those were the ones?
Yes. Yes. But like,
and it's in the album is a snake eating a butterfly.
Oh my god. But it's like, can you imagine like listening to Teardrops on My Guitar shuffle followed by Look What You Made Me Do? Might be a little jolting.
Yeah.
But could be therapeutic, honestly. Yeah. Maybe I should try it.
Yeah.
Should put those two together. All right. Now, I don't know if you lurk to the level I do, but I am constantly checking the Eras Tour updates to see what outfit she is wearing. So, what have been your favorite outfits? And I guess, what do you hate?
I think I would like the 1989 outfits if and when she puts them together.
It's a good top. It's a good bottom.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people like speculating that when she puts them together, it will mean it's time for a Taylor's version to come. I don't know why. I don't know why that's the hint. I guess like because the lion head on the top like matches the Look What You Made Me Do video. I don't know, but they're like, oh, once the greens are together, once the stars have aligned. Yeah. I do really like the new Folkmore dresses.
Yeah.
I like the new Speak Now gowns. I loved when she wore the chief colors. I thought that was so fucking funny.
Yeah. The new Midnight's bodysuit that she came out with was hot. I mean, not that they aren't all, I guess. I do like the brighter colors of the folklore dresses. So cute. I do not like the 1989 outfits because of the mixed match shoes. I honestly would be fine even if the top and the skirt were still mixed matched. I don't really care. The shoes. Stop
It's
with the shoes. And like the second day that she did this new thing, she's in like orange, purple, and then her shoes are like gold and silver. They like weren't even right. I was like, okay, is this like a mistake? Like you ran out of shoes back there? Your shoes broke or something? Or what does it mean?
People were like, oh, but I think these are still the original shoes. And I was like, who fucking cares? She just got shoes out the ass back there.
Yeah.
That's the problem, is she just grabbing.
Yeah. I think that the original theory was that like the two different colors was supposed to signify that Torture Poets was coming, because Torture Poets had been like twos and like came out in twos, and like that it was what was next. If true, then I'm trying to find a way to like connect, like if she does put the colors together, like will it mean like Female Rage the Musical has been announced? Will it, like, I just don't know. I don't know.
Feel like I just assumed it was more to match like the actual 1989 era.
Yeah. Well, the skirt and
but
top,
I'm so stupid for not reading more into that. I apologize. That's on me.
It's my bad.
I should have known.
Yeah, I mean, and I think she's having so much fun with like the top and bottom, where like she did like the Swedish flag colors or like whatever, and that's cool. Just could we match the shoes?
She's being so camp.
Yeah.
What I would love is like if the top and the shoes were the same color.
Yes, perfect.
You know they call that sandwich dressing.
Yes.
The first time I heard the term sandwich dressing, I thought meaning to put dressing on a sandwich.
Well,
I was like, okay. And then they were like you wear the same color on top and on bottom and a different color in the middle. And I was like, genius.
Yeah.
Were people not already doing that?
Strange. I absolutely hate the surprise song dresses.
Yes.
I agree. The colors, bad.
Yeah.
The ombre, bad.
Maybe that's the hint for debut. Like she's like, let's go back in time. Yeah, I would never be on the side of an ombre high-low dress.
And like I know the last ones were kind of high-low, but this is like abrupt. This is like
the last ones were giving more like wrap dress.
Sure. True.
Like it made sense. Like I was like, okay, it's not like,
it's like,
but like
yes,
this,
you can see her feet in the front, but like
this is a 2013 American Eagle dressing room mirror high-low dress.
And everyone's like, cut her some slack. The arms were too hard on the last dresses to like get in and out of. Okay, take the arms off.
Yeah.
That's a completely different fucking dress, and it's ugly. Like, I'm not mad about the arms. I'm not mad about the arms.
I keep waiting on a color combination that makes me think it's not that bad. Not in this lifetime.
There are like 1989 outfit combinations that I've been like, oh, not the worst. None of them that I'm like, love. The minion colors. I know I said good for her for doing the Swedish flag, but like maybe don't dress like a minion. I don't know. Whenever, she doesn't need me to tell her.
Yeah.
I did tell people as soon as they said, is Torture Poets going to be a set? And everyone was like, I wonder what she's going to cut. I said, I will fucking die if she cuts Tolerate It.
I feel like...
So here I am, a ghost.
Yeah. I feel like Jesse in Gilmore Girls when he's like, why did you drop out of Yale? Like, I'm like, why did you cut Tolerate It? Like,
I know.
Of all the things you could do. But here, I had a theory, and so far it's clearly proven to be untrue, but like my theory is like, how do I explain? I guess that, like, thinking back to, like, the first leg of the tour, like, there were times where we got Nobody No Crime.
Sure.
We got, like,
nothing new.
Yeah, nothing new. We got, like, she switched the one and whatever the other one was. Like, yeah, Long Live got put in. Like, there are times when things like change, and so like I wondered, once the Tortured Poets Department is added, are there gonna be some differences in different shows? Like, this one's gonna have Tolerate It,
Sure.
but it's not gonna have something else.
I had kind of thought that too. If like,
but
maybe
so far,
I had thought that also because like the Eras Tour movie exists. Yeah. And so I had thought like now she can kind of like play with it, because like people won't be like really like missing.
Right.
You know, like we will still know like what it was originally. And so I thought like maybe she would do that, like whatever. But I just, listen, I'm a red girly over here, but like could have cut 22. Well, I guess not because of the hat. Could have cut Never Ever Getting Back Together. Could have cut Shake It Off, Friends.
Could have cut 7 minutes out of All Too Well.
Yeah, no. But I'm like, I don't know. Like this, they don't like this. I am not mad that she cut Long Live, because I've been salty as fuck that I didn't get to see Long Live live and everyone else did. So I'm like, yeah, good riddance. None of you deserve.
Okay, Lala.
Also, yeah, true. We're in the middle of a strange, like, one-sided feud between Billie Eilish and Taylor. Some people do not believe it's one-sided, so maybe I'll get got for this. So as Taylor Swift does, she has dropped countless editions of everything. Like the drafts with memos, the vinyls, whatever. Apparently she dropped new editions of some of the songs. It may have been the draft memo ones.
Yeah.
A day before Billie Eilish's new album would release. People also say that like even dropping Torture Poets a month before Billie Eilish was supposed to drop her album was like Taylor fucking with her, which like, come on. But some people are convinced that her releasing those draft versions of the songs was like purposeful to like keep Billie Eilish off the charts. First of all, like those songs are not on charts. Like I don't really understand. Like you have to buy them online. She did release the Fortnite remix as well.
And the Live from Paris.
Yes, that's been since this, but both of those. So Billie Eilish started throwing some shade. She said, apparently to Beyonce too, because she said it is absolutely psychotic to have shows that are over 3 hours long and that no fans would ever want to sit through that. Hard disagree. And also, where have you been for the last year? Everyone in the world wants to see it. They'll go to the movie theater to see it. They'll pay $20 to see it in their house. Like, okay.
To see it longer in their house.
They'll watch 10 minutes of extra footage. Like, what? She had also previously perceivably thrown some shade when she said that major artists have been wasteful for making multiple vinyl editions. She was talking about like packaging too, but like essentially same thing, that like people have to buy all of these. Since then though, she has released lots of vinyl editions and lots of various editions of her album. And the two seemingly are going back and forth releasing remixes. Taylor released the Fortnite remix. Billie released some remix from one of her songs. I don't listen to Billie Eilish. I couldn't tell you what it is. And they've both been like releasing new editions and stuff. So people think that Taylor is like going tit for tat with her. I just like find that hard to believe. Like they're like Taylor needs so badly to stay on top of the charts, and I'm like, I think she would. I don't know.
How old is
Like,
Billie Eilish?
I don't know.
I don't think a 34-year-old woman is like intentionally going tit for tat.
Yeah,
Like
she's
a
young.
20-year-old.
Yeah. Also, Billie's manager recently retweeted something that accused Taylor of preventing other artists from shining.
It's not her fault.
Mm-mm. Sorry. Also, like, not to like, I don't know. I guess this could be manipulative, but it's like if you get on her good side, she helps artists shine. Like, you got Ice Spice in her songs. You got people at her concerts getting to be opening acts or get to like come on stage with her. So it's like, stop fucking with her. And maybe you don't have to fight.
Almost as if. Speaking of 20-year-olds whose names end in the sounds illy, Millie Bobby Brown got married officially.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cute.
To little Bon Jovi.
Okay. Now Vanderpump time.
Yes.
So we obviously missed a lot. The finale through the entire reunion. So, what were your thoughts?
I think first and foremost that Lala is so wild for not being able to look at the situation with the same grace that she's wanted everyone to look at her with from the moment she met Randall, not just through her breakup. And like I understand that some people have trouble seeing outside of themselves and their own problems and being empathetic. That's not everyone's journey.
Sure.
But it's frustrating specifically with Lala because she is claiming to have done all of this work to become infinitely more emotionally intelligent. And she can't like see past herself for a second.
Yeah.
And like weaponizing her child against everyone, like it's ridiculous.
It also like is sad because it like could have been this like great bonding thing. Like you think of like when Ariana was talking to Lala many seasons back about losing her dad and like, man, I wanted to rip everyone to shreds too. Like they could have had this really great bonding experience this season where Lala said to her like, look, I'm sure you have some haters and like people can be awful, but like I am so happy for you that like people are rallying behind you in ways that they did not do for me. Like this whole like power of the pussy girl that we've been promised for 10 seasons, like you couldn't say, and she like admits that it's like I was just frustrated because people didn't treat me this way, but like I don't think she recognizes that as like jealousy.
Right.
I think she just thinks like I'm frustrated by the double standard, but it's like, okay, but like you know how awful that was. So like why are you wishing that on Ariana? Like you could just say like that is so great. Like they're not doing that to you.
Yeah. What's sad is if they did do that to Ariana, her and Lala would still be friends. She'd be like, "Oh my god, like that happened to me too."
We're the same.
Yeah. Sandoval is as disgusting as ever. Yeah. I hated the parts of the reunion where you can see like how comfortable he's gotten again, like making jokes about things, asking Anne if she can clean up after they eat the sandwiches. No. I feel like he has changed none. Alternatively, I feel like I have never seen Ariana the way she was at the reunion. Like, and people were coming for her last year. She was so angry. And like, she reminds us again that like that was immediately after she had found out. It's been a year now. And she was just like sad at this one.
Yeah.
And like pleading. And like, can he please just get away from her and give her what she wants for once.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I don't want to watch her be sad anymore.
Yeah.
And, like, I think that really, like, proves to people that are saying she needs to let it go, like, that she wasn't, like, holding on to it for so long. It had just happened. Like, that's why she was so angry. She's not, like, as angry anymore. She don't like him. She gonna talk shit about him. But
Well, it's
she's not, it's
also,
not the same level of anger a
yeah, and
year
it's
later.
also like move on, okay, like from the breakup, because everything else is still happening. We're still talking about it. We're still trying to give him a
Right.
redemption arc. She's still being sued for her house and for revenge porn
Right.
by this woman. So it's like, get over what? Like, she's still
Right.
living it.
Yeah. Sheena's gross.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have finally found the one woman in the world that Sheena will ride for, and it is somehow even more disappointing than when she wanted to be one of the boys.
Yeah, it's like, what does she have about like people having an indifference toward her that's like her kink? Like when Lala like
Yeah.
wasn't looking at her, she's just sitting there bawling, being like, I think she's still mad at me. And I'm like, she's ignoring you.
Yeah.
Like,
But I love Katie. I
Katie.
really am happy that she and Schwartz are friends again, but I would also love if we as a society could not normalize the fact that his girlfriend graduated from college in 2022.
It's so gross.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
But it was funny. Katie said, "She's hot, you say?"
Uh-huh.
And then he's like, "She's 24," and she's like, "Never fucking mind."
Yeah. Obviously, general consensus is that Lala just continued to look jealous, which I think, like, obviously she like gets to at the end of it, where she just says like, I wasn't met with this kind of reaction, blah blah blah, and it's like that is a fair feeling to have. Like that's fair to like be like, damn, like that sucks.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, to like make the whole fucking season about it.
Yeah. And to like take it out on Ariana. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, especially when you have been like hurt and like it seems traumatized by someone or a situation, it's okay to be a little baby sometimes. It's okay to be petty and to like, and especially like I always, okay, small tangent. At church last week, our priest was like, y'all need to not like, don't make noises when your spouse is driving. Like, don't be like, ah, like, I was like so pissed because I was like, do you think that I like wait for my husband to drive crazily? And then I'm like, what noise should I make? Like, that's a reaction.
Yeah.
And like, so that's my new like soapbox is that reactions just happen. So like it's okay to like have a feeling that you really can't help but feel, to like have that like knee jerk jealousy or whatever. And like I think it was so fair of Lala to be like, I got torn to shreds by Lisa Vanderpump and she didn't. Like, yeah, that sucks. But like just say that. Stop pretending like Ariana is doing something wrong.
Right.
And taking this all out on her.
Yeah.
Just say, I'm so
like you could just say to Lisa, like, hey Lisa, I'm just wondering like what made my situation so different than hers.
Right. It hurt my feelings that you said you get them how you lose them, or you lose them how you get them, because people were originally some people did say that about Ariana.
Yeah.
And everyone shut it down so fucking fast. It's okay to be like, no, I don't want that narrative. But like, just say that. Stop
not
saying
to Ariana.
That, yeah, stop saying I think she's fucking weird for living with him.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing Sheena and Lala both missed, is that like you can have whatever frustrations with like how things are handled. Stop bringing them to her.
Right.
Stop. Like that's where it's like just straight up jealousy, is when like you can't stop like putting it in her face that you don't like that she's successful. You don't like that she's setting boundaries. You don't like that she won't let you be Tom's friend. Like do whatever, but leave her out of it.
Yeah.
Please. Lala just keeps on thinking that she's giving these great one-liners. Something about her is really nothing about her. Okay. Also say it once. Don't say it on the after show too. That's embarrassing. She thinks she's making really good real television, but doesn't realize that no one thinks it's real anymore when you keep talking about this as a way to continue getting checks.
Yeah.
And also you want your one-liners are cringy.
Yeah.
Miss Girl. For months, Lala, Sheena has also said, like, you'll get it at the reunion. But Lala has told us, you just need to wait for context on the, I've never met someone who gets cheated on and suddenly they become God. She's like, you just have to get context and then you'll understand it. This is what we waited for?
Mm-hmm.
You thought we were all going to go, oh, well, she left. So, fair.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it.
When Ariana said, I don't think I'm Beyonce, I was like, oh,
I know. Heart. I just think it's so nuts that them and production like actually thought we're such idiots that we were gonna like take the redemption edit.
Yeah. I actually like watching production try to convince Ariana not to leave. I was like, fuck these people. Like, she better quit this fucking show.
Yeah, yeah.
After that.
Ariana actually tells Lala at the end of the reunion, like, if this is truly about entertainment, like, take out the rest of it. Like, if that's what we're talking about, like, didn't I give you a better ending? Lala says, sure, but it was really only because of me. It was because I lost my mind afterwards. Otherwise, the ending would have just been you walking out and going to Applebee's, and, like, that's boring. And, like, no, dude.
This feels so first season of Lala to say.
Yeah. Online, we see that despite Lala and Sheena, despite producers' continued attempts, the ending and the reunions have only made people ride harder for Ariana and Katie. And they did open something about her, and it was so successful that they had to turn people away before close because they were out of sandwiches.
Which is crazy because they could only let people in 2 at a time because their POS system went down.
Yeah. So obviously Lala and Katie's friendship seemed to be pretty decimated. So it seems like, okay, we've gotten our context for why they're on the outs. But like, we also kind of get Katie's confusion because the whole time Lala keeps saying, like, Andy's like, where do you go from here? And she's like, oh, where we always go. Like, we're on the up. Oh, we'll always be fine. Katie will always be the homie. Like, we'll get over this. She's saying over and over again, like, no worries. Like, we're good. So, like, imagine Katie's frustration when that's the last time they spoke. This is in March. And then in April, she's posting stories about her and tagging her mom.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay. Like,
right.
Yeah, I know we had a fight, but, like, I didn't know we were, like, done.
Right.
I felt like the whole time the Toms were pretty irrelevant.
Good.
Other than, like, why was Sandoval making so many sex jokes?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why are you talking about banging Katie? Why are you talking about Jax under the belt, below the belt, whatever? Like, and Andy, why are you laughing? Why are you encouraging him? It's not funny.
There was something they said about, like, somebody asked him something about him and Ariana, and he said something about, like, rolling around.
He said rolling at a music festival?
Yeah. Like
rolling, like on Molly is what he means, like rolling.
Okay.
But I was like, I don't know. Yeah. So Sheena was saying, like, Sheena was like talking about, like, there were times that y'all were all over each other, like, y'all didn't have a good relationship at times. And he said, like, or rolling at a music festival.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ariana mumbles to herself, like, that's rude.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I obviously don't know the context. So, like, if they really did do that, like, is she just saying, like, that's rude to talk about, like, things we did in our relationship? Is he making some sort of joke because him and Raquel did that? Like, I don't really know the context.
Yeah.
And, like, why it was, like, bad.
I didn't know if I, like, missed something, like, that I should have, like, been aware of what he was trying to say.
It felt weird that they, like, would include that, but Andy wouldn't say, like, what are you talking about?
Right.
in the middle of some of the reunion parts, Katie had posted on her story, and she said, quote, I'm someone who has suffered from imposter syndrome for as long as I have known myself, hence why I was apprehensive about opening the sandwich shop on my own. So when Ariana was going through not only a world of hurt, but also getting some amazing opportunities, that changed a lot of things during a pivotal time. I was extremely sensitive to what she was going through, but also very supportive. I was also dealing with immense insecurity about what I could take on and simply didn't want to put that on her. I had an emotional response that didn't feel appropriate, I was also dealing with immense insecurity about what I could take on and simply didn't want to put that on her. I had an emotional response that didn't feel appropriate bringing to her front door, so I went where I felt safe or where I thought was safe until I could find the appropriate conversation to have with Ariana, which of course I did and have had plenty of since. End quote. The grammar lacking, but like sad. And I think that like
that is friendship. That is girlhood. That's
right.
what it's about.
Right.
Knowing your friends, reading the fucking room, and knowing that seeking somewhere safe to like as a landing pad for it, it's not shit talking. Like that Lala kept trying to make it out to be shit talking about Ariana, and Ariana wasn't fucking having it. She was like, I know Katie didn't shit talk me. Katie has said this to my face. That's the difference. Like that is how good friends, adult friends, should act.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I felt in the reunion when Lala was like explaining this, I really did feel like I get that. I get that like if I felt like my friend was acting one way towards me and then essentially like gaslighting me on camera. I get on camera and I try to bring it to them and they suddenly like don't want to talk about it, but this is like my best friend. I get that. I get that that is like painful. It's like confusing. Like I understand that. And I think like that would suck. But I think that overarching all of that to me was the sliminess of the fact that she needed to say it at the reunion in front of Ariana, and she needed to bring in like the call with Jeremiah, and she's like exposing Katie. And so it's like, that is fine that that hurt you. What's not cool is that like Katie trusted you. Katie just like was also, you were her best friend. And she also like wanted to be open with you and to say these things. I'm sure that there were caveats in there. I'm sure she was still saying like, I love her. I'm still excited to open a business with her, but like I feel stressed or I feel whatever. And it's like, I don't know. I did feel a little bit like Katie was like, she would like admit like just enough that like wouldn't get her in trouble.
I feel like
she'd
she
be like,
felt gotcha'd.
Yes. Well, she felt like Lala was trying to gotcha her.
Yeah.
I felt a little bit like, she could be fibbing a little, because she's saying like, well, sure, I said that, but I didn't mean it like that. And it's like, but it's also like, again, she can say like, yeah, I was going the fuck off about how I'm jealous about Ariana or I'm lonely or like I'm doing this alone. And still like, I didn't need to talk about it on camera. I didn't need to talk about it with her. I was over it by then. And Lala says like, all you had to do was tell me like you were over it by then. And I'm like, I'm having a feeling she like did when you and Jeremiah called her.
Yeah. I also feel like, and like this is like taking into consideration the story Katie posted, but like I feel like it was more about Katie feeling like she wasn't ready to do it on her own, and less like I'm mad at Ariana for having things to do.
Yeah. I think like it's obviously partially like, oh, she's physically gone and like now I'm having to deal with all this. I also think like, I don't know that this is how Katie felt, but like this is how I would feel. Like, are people only going to come to my business for her? Are people buying our merch for her? Are people writing this hard for something about her, but for her? So it's like, I think that that's also a lot of like imposter syndrome and like pressure that like you're not even the one they care about. And like that sucks to like feel that way, that like for 11 years on this season, you've been pretty hated. Like Katie's not been a fan favorite. until like very recently. And so it's like, yeah, people like her because she's good with Ariana, but like no one is like, until this season, I think, like no one is like, Katie Maloney is my girl.
Yeah.
And it like, I think that that's hard, you know?
Yeah. But what a nice time for people to ride for Katie, and like as the shop is opening, and now she can be like, it is me too.
Yeah. So Ariana did join Katie and Dana on their Disrespectfully podcast right after the reunion wrapped up, or like it aired right after the reunion. People really thought like she's gonna spill the tea, like we're gonna finally get her side. Yeah, not really. She doesn't really care to talk about it. What she did say is basically that she stands by that she actually gave the season the best ending that she could have. She said it was a boring ass season. Y'all didn't want to watch me have a boring ass conversation. And so like I gave you a good ending. Her and Katie said it first, but her and Katie both agreed that it just felt mean of the producers to like hold that last 5 minutes and make them all watch together, and only mean to Ariana.
Yeah.
Katie said like it didn't affect me. It didn't affect mostly anyone. Like it just was like mean to you. And Ariana says like basically they did not get the crying conversation that they wanted from me at the finale where I talked to Tom. So they decided they're going to make it happen. They're going to force it to happen at a place where I am contractually obligated to be. And that's exactly what they did. And she said like, I hope you're glad I cried. You're welcome. That's all you wanted from me. So she cries. Tom gets to turn his whole body towards her, give his pleading apology, like basically everything she was trying to avoid at the finale. They made her do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the fact that Sandoval was like giggling as the video was going, and then like Ariana's like watching all of her friendships like flash before her eyes. Like Sheena looked scared shitless. Like she's realizing, oh, like Lala doesn't fuck with me. And then Lala has the audacity to say that this wasn't fun for her. Like, what? And I also feel like I just feel like Scandival has brought us such a new version of reality TV, because like we just see so much more into the production side of things now. But I also feel like I have never in my life heard anyone on reality TV be so open about wanting everyone to play a role so that they can get more screen time and more money. And I think that I remember we had a conversation. I think it was something that Stassi said, that like there are certain things that like production like says you should do or asks you to do, and Lala would just be like, no. And like I think that brings us back to that she bypasses what production wants her to do however she wants. So she is like, I need y'all to get it together and do what we need to do to make money. This is like she's like treating it like a acting show.
Right, like a scripted show. Right. Yeah, Lala has said that about Ariana for like a couple of years now. She has said like Ariana will just like halt production and like not participate in conversations. But yeah, I mean Lala has said that too. Like production did like that hot mic interview with her and podcast or whatever, and they said like, you know, we got you on the show and all of a sudden you were trying to like call shots and it was like kind of crazy. So yeah, I don't know. I was glad that Ariana addressed the fact that beyond just cheating on her, like a major continuing problem is that Tom brought this person into their lives. I think just as good as the point she made on the finale when she said like, I was essentially having non-consensual sex with someone because I did not know he was having sex with someone else, and like I could have gotten an STD. But essentially she's saying like, you brought this person into our lives. I didn't agree to this. Now she's fucking suing me. She's constantly talking about me on her podcast. My life continues to be affected by this. And everyone can sit there and say like, oh, but it's in a good way. You have all these opportunities. But it's like, it's also in a shitty way. Like, she didn't even get to like find out her man was cheating on her in private with someone she didn't know. and just like move on. So yeah. Back to production fourth wall breaking things. Sheena has now said that production essentially told her and Lala that if they did not turn this season around, because if you all recall at the beginning, it was kind of boring, that it would be a short season and the show would be canceled. I'm not saying that this is impossible, that production guides them and suggests things to them. It just feels a little convenient that Raquel says this when everyone hates her. Now Sheena and Lala are saying it when everyone hates them. Personally, I think the reason that the beginning of the season felt bad for me is that I thought, can everyone stop telling Ariana to move on? Like, this is boring. If your only storyline is this girl hasn't moved on quick enough, then like I'm over it.
Right.
So like the idea that they like turned the season around by continuing that, like I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think that the irony of it all is that in this grand attempt by Lala and subsequently Sheena to keep their jobs and keep this show successful, no one wants to watch them anymore. All we have heard is that they're bullshitting us. All we have heard is that for them, they're not living their regular lives. They're manufacturing a good show for us. So, although I'm not naive to the fact that production does guide them, does a lot of editing, that not everything is like exactly as it seems, we would like to see as much real as possible.
Right.
So
we've made that very clear.
Yeah. So knowing how much thought Lala and Sheena are putting into making this a good show isn't what people want. Like Katie said on the podcast, and this is true, like if I have a fight before filming starts, I'm not going to redo the fight. Sorry, you missed it. Like that's not how it works. So it's like you're going to have lulls in seasons. You're going to have seasons that are just not that interesting. And you're going to need to rely on like loving the show and the characters enough that like you want to keep watching it. But like real life is that like sometimes they're just fucking living.
Yeah. It felt like such a joke when they're like rolling the last 5 minutes of the finale and Lala's like, I love doing this show because it's so real and these friendships are real. And then it ends and she's like, I'm fucking done with you, Ariana, because you aren't acting how I want you to. Like,
yeah.
Like, which is it?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like Lala has fucked herself over so hard, and man, she has taken Sheena down with her. Because now everything they do seems so calculated.
Yep.
And I've said this before, and I will probably say it till I'm dead. If everyone had stuck to their guns and just said, I don't want to film with Trash Bag Tom, I don't want to be friends with Trash Bag Tom, they would have eventually pushed him out, possibly even both of the Toms out. But instead, Lala and Sheena decided to take all his bullets for him and have now made themselves the most hateable people on the show in their attempt to keep us entertained.
Right.
We don't want it. We don't want it. We have heard from producers that Vanderpump Rules is not over, but they've also said that it's not technically been renewed. So I don't know. They don't know who will be on, how it will look. Ariana's so busy, she has not been able to tell them yet what she wants to do. They did confirm, though, that the cast of The Valley is full, so no one will be switching over to The Valley. Speaking of The Valley, I am starting to wonder more and more if, like, the timing of Brittany and Jax announcing their separation was, like, a little bit for publicity. It's obviously, like, real. Like, they hate each other. But like the timing, like, feels like, oh, we saw that like a bad news and a breakup got people to watch the rest of season 10 for Scandival to like look for things. So now like people are gonna watch The Valley and like want to watch us fall apart. And it kind of seems
you
like
don't have to look very far.
Yeah, it seems like we're getting right into like the demise.
Yeah.
Jax has been seen on some dates with this influencer girly, but he says we don't really know what's happening. We don't know the full story. Although there's pictures of him like holding her. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I got it.
I did
And
see someone say that they think that the like final straw was Jax blaming Cruz's speech regression on his vaccinations, and then saying like basically that like, well, we got him vaccinated and now he won't talk and there's like nothing we can do. And like Brittany is like, it seems from the show like working really hard to get him the help he needs.
Yeah.
And like that would likely have been the final straw, especially when she says like he wasn't giving me and Cruz what we need. But then she posted that story and was like, keep my son's name out your fucking mouth.
Yeah.
So that's as far as I'm gonna speculate on that theory.
Yeah. I mean, that was so sad. And I like almost went looking through comments, but like on like the first picture I didn't see anything, and I was like, I'm not gonna keep looking. But yeah, like I don't know what people are saying. Like
I do.
Okay. I just didn't know, like, I don't know if they're like blaming her or like if she just is like, I don't really care like what you're saying or who you're blaming, but like stop talking about my kid.
Basically, and I think the reason I think that this is what she's talking about is because she said like based on like 5 minutes of an episode.
Oh.
People are saying in the episode where they met with a speech therapist
Sure.
that them explaining that he isn't speaking and then him lining up his toys in rows, those are both like very like common symptoms of being autistic.
Okay.
And so people are saying that basically that Jax is saying his son is autistic because of his vaccinations.
Sure.
And everyone's saying like, let's not worry about that. You should get him tested. And I think that's what's like bothering her is like, I think, and like, look, we don't know Cruz.
No.
I am certainly not his mother.
We have seen very little of him.
Right. I think that what Brittany was trying to do and is trying to do is like figure out the speech thing first.
Like rule you people do that. You rule things out. You see
like he knows how to talk because he used to talk. He's not now. Let's see if we can build it back up with speech therapy.
We don't know that she's like opposed to getting him tested at some point.
That is a wonderful place to start. So yeah, I think that trying to tackle the speech thing when that is like the predominating issue at the moment, like certainly nothing wrong with that. I think that's a great place to start. He's like 3.
Yeah.
He's not in school yet. They have a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Also like kids don't typically get diagnosed with autism before they're in school. So she's got time to figure it out. And like, and I think that this is like one of those things that like reasons I would never want to be famous is because not that I'm saying Brittany has opened herself up to receive this kind of information from people, but like people are always going to give her unsolicited opinions and advice, and that's very unfortunate because like he so clearly is her top priority. She just wants to get him what he needs, and like she doesn't need all of the background noise of people speculating what's wrong with him. And like and it's not just Brittany, like Carly Waddell from The Bachelor, people comment relentlessly on her page that her daughter has teeth problems, that it looks like she sucked a pacifier too long because her mouth is pointed a weird way, like just people do that and it sucks. And they shouldn't, but like I think I'm certain that that's what she's referring to, is because especially saying like from a little bit of an episode, because there are a lot of people referring specifically to that clip of the episode with the speech therapist that she needs to get her son tested for autism, and like let's let her take she's doing something. Like I think that's what we need to take away from it. She's not ignoring it.
And I think like I obviously haven't read them, like I said, but like it's one of those things that does just like really suck about being famous, because like I don't know that most of these people who are saying this probably like mean anything bad about her. Like, they
Yeah.
probably actually think, like, oh, I'm on her side. I'm shitting on Jax for, like, saying this vaccine thing. Or, like, oh, I'm trying to help her. And it's like, so I don't know that people are, like, hating on Brittany.
Yeah,
But
I
it
agree.
is one of those things that's just like,
don't talk about my son.
It's none of your business. And like, I am going to figure it out. You don't actually know. We may have already gotten him tested. Like, you don't know anything.
Yeah. It's
so,
also, it is a bitch to get a child who's not in a public school tested for autism. It is a long waiting game.
Yeah.
But that's beside the point. I also, though, like, what was I going to say about? About people thinking that they're being helpful. If you're one of those people who thinks you're being helpful by commenting on unsolicited advice on other people's,
especially.
On other people's posts, let me give you some words of advice from our school counselor. If you want to help someone, see if they want help first, because when they are trying to fix something and you're giving them help that they don't want, it stresses them out more. Tough lesson learned by my second graders. They were shocked to find that it might not be so helpful to me when 10 of them rush up to pick up the single crayon I dropped on the floor. It makes it worse.
Yeah.
So just take that into consideration. Maybe it's not your turn. Write it down in your notes app.
If you're putting it among hundreds of comments on an Instagram post, it's probably not your turn.
Right. I like, and it might be your turn soon. Fear not. I have seen influencer parents ask for help and opinions. So write it down in your notes app. With the second someone asks, copy and paste.
You get in there.
Yeah. Take your turn.
Yeah.
You got it.
A little random, but I felt like we should mention Vanderpump Villa also wrapped up and had a reunion. Didn't really feel like a ending though. Kind of felt like there should be a part 2. So it was weird. And that's all I have for that.
I'm really not sure what's going on there. But I did like the show.
It was good. Don't have any idea like how they'll redo it. It was so weird though, being like, we didn't want to spend the time talking about Eric's allegations, so we told him not to be here. And I'm like, kind of seems like a cop out, but looky.
Yeah. Thank you, Karamo.
That Lisa didn't do a good enough background check, so she like doesn't want to talk about it.
Sammy was like, ooh, they didn't want Andy. I said, this isn't a Bravo show.
Yeah. Billy said they couldn't afford Andy, and I said, like, I think he probably can't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.